having these movements and these organizations.
You can't. That doesn't work for my dynamic.
That's the right-wing dynamic you're trying to push here, of conflict first. I want unity. And listen, I think the labor movement is confronting this. I think groups like NARAL are confronting this, that we can't just be about electing candidates and about nothing else. And it is something that I think we're confronting. It's clear the Wisconsin AFL-CIO is confronting this. It's clear the teachers union is confronting this. I can tell you also, as someone who gets paid to be a consultant to campaigns, I never advise people to go right, because I know that the populist direction actually earns you more votes. Some of that is about people protecting their own space, right? And so we do have to do work on that front. Let me give you 4 examples. Again, this is just on the list of things that have happened. 2 million more acres protected of wilderness that are going to be not developed because President Obama, by fiat essentially, protected them. Fuel efficiency standards being doubled. From an average fleet standard today of 27 miles per gallon to 54.5 miles per gallon by 2025. Those changes start now, right? And then it steps up. That's a huge change that addresses our global warming problem. In fact, the EPA declared by law that greenhouse gases are a threat to human families. That's something that wasn't the case under the Bush administration, right? So, there's one other example. On labor rights, the Obama administration reversed Bush-era executive orders. So now federal contractors are required to offer jobs to their current workers, and they can't just fire their well-paid workers and hire cheaper workers. In fact, they can't do what they were doing under the Bush era, which is getting reimbursed by the government for the money that they were using to fight unions and to fight collective bargaining, right? Under Bush, a company could fight the union and then get paid back from the federal government for doing that. That practice doesn't happen anymore because President Obama put a stop to it. So there's story after story after story about how things are different. And here's I guess where it does come down to this. And again, I think I agree with Chris, is there has to be a strategy, okay? Just to say no more is you know, it's what my 7-year-old Sanjeev does when I say eat more peas. When I literally tell him to eat more peas, right? Just saying no isn't enough. It has to be filled with something. There has to be a strategy. If somebody says, here's my third-party candidate, or here's how I'm going to build a real third party, which hasn't happened in this country, from the grassroots up, right? Because the Green Party hasn't gotten it done. And if it got it done and you started electing people, start with alder people, right? And then go to county executives, and then go to a member of Congress, and build it so that there is a progressive movement that people can glom onto. In the meantime, don't tell me that things have to get worse for my family and your family because he's not good enough. Because that's what I hear. What I hear is he isn't good enough, he's not perfect enough, and so we need to demand a higher standard. Well, if what I get is Newt Gingrich as president, that's not a higher standard. That's hurting my family, that's hurting our country, that's hurting the planet, that's hurting women, that's hurting the environment, that's hurting our education system. On every level, what these crazy right-wing 1% nut jobs are fighting for is going to hurt us. And so, if you want me to empty the glass, you got to fill it with something else before I can say yes. Thanks.
Questions from the audience. I think perhaps the best way would be if you have a question you'd like to raise, to come up to the microphone and then either specifically ask one of the debaters, or we'll allow for a couple minutes for each response. Absolutely. Go ahead.
You mentioned the Obama bailing out the car industries, the companies, and you're right, he did bail them out. Well, what do you think about leaving management in place, and the management that has been making SUVs? So yeah, he bailed them out, he kept jobs, but what about